Very good morning, my dear friends. Last class, I have been discussing about the importance of embedded system and also the technology advancements which has been employed in the embedded system, the importance of embedded system in the present day life, how it has been used, and different applications. Today, I have been discussing to you the classification based on certain criteria which have been, one is based on generation. As you know that the first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation computers have been available with a different CPU timings, and speed has been in different directions. Therefore, the generation of computer has been very, very important in selecting a CPU for the embedded purposes. So coming back, the complexity and performance requirements has been very important, because once we have been using the embedded system for one particular application, where the complexity may increase or decrease depending upon the characteristics and performance requirements. Therefore, the complexity will be increased as it has been used for n number of applications, but here mostly the embedded system has been used for a particular purpose as a dedicated application, just like I said in the previously about the uh, power system, where the voltage has been monitored for threshold conditions so that it can able to operate the different relays, so that in case of faults in that power system. Secondly, the based on deterministic behavior is also very, very important, because the characteristics speaks to me the behavior of that particular system and its reliability. So based on the triggering also, I can able to classify the embedded system, maybe a software triggered or a hardware triggered. Like that, a triggering mechanism has been very, very important, because I need to have a synchronism with respect to timing sequences. So like that, the classification has been given like this. The based on generation, when you talk about, I already said that the first generation is a 8-bit processor with a lesser CPU speed, and second generation is 16-bit microcontrollers, which has been used along with the 8086 processor with a higher frequency, and the speed has been slightly increased when compared to 8-bit processors. And the third generation computer, when we talk about a 32-bit processors, and also the DSP and ASIC, which has been employed, which improves further the speed to a higher speed, because the speed is a criteria, because we have been using a software algorithms which has to be executed at a faster rate, so that the processor can work for a better performance. So fourth generation computer, when talk about the system on chip, and also smartphone device has been evolved in the fourth generation computers, which has been extensively used in the modern day world. So coming back to the complexity and performance requirements, when I talk about, it has been for a dedicated application, I said already, and using a firmware. Firmware is nothing but a software built into the system, as a application for system firmware has been very, very important. So it has been just like an operating system which has been involved into the embedded systems. Large scale using RTOs, real-time operating systems have been there. And when talk about operating system, the operating system can work on offline. The operating system can work on real-time. Operating system can work on a offline also. Therefore, here in the particular purpose of the embedded system, we need to have a real-time applications. Therefore, we need to have an OS, which has been operating system should be in a works in real time. So if you see the small block diagram here, types of embedded system when you talk about a small scale, a medium scale, and sophisticated embedded systems. A small scale is one where it has been a smaller production has been taken care of with a specific task. A medium scale is embedded system, and sophistication has been a higher side where we have built-in software which takes care of the performance and also the reliability point of view. So therefore, if you talk about the, I have given some slides here which has been extensively used for the different automobile applications and also the device which will be used extensively, and also the consumer electronics and also the communication and industry, where you could see that the consumer electronics were the TV and the remote sensing and air conditioners, like that. We have a modem in the communication where we have been network and Ethernet has been used, and LAN, WAN connections can also be possible in this direction. If you see the other slide as the industrial mission, where I could see that the industrial production can be improved by using robotics in these applications. So purpose of embedded systems are a data collection and storage. The data collection has been very, very important because we have to monitor particularly the data which has been different variables have been collected and stored so that it can be used for further processing, like the controlling actions, when it has to take controlling actions and all is possible. Therefore, the data communication has been very important because I want to transfer the data, stored data into the some other devices where I need to have a data communication, or I have transferred this data into the external world is also very, very important. Therefore, we have to take care of the data communication properly so that the data will not be lost during the transition. Therefore, there should be a good compatibility in the communication system so that the speed-wise and when you talk about compatibility should not suffer. Therefore, the other aspect is that data signal processing. You know that we have been talking about different sensors where the signals can be a audio signal or which can be converted into a digital signal and then going for processing or using different filters, so IAR or FIR filters. Therefore, DSP has been extensively used and along with the processing here so that the data processing can also take place by the digital signal processing. Similarly, I want to add something more here is that the image processing is also possible sometimes where the detections can be done or the parameter monitoring can be done by the images also. Therefore, the next coming for a monitoring, when I see a parameter has to be monitored regularly, thoroughly, so that I will not miss any sample value in the monitoring system. So monitoring system is so extensive and it is also critical, which should operate on the real-time application so that the monitoring of these parameters will be useful for me in going for any further controls or the operations. Therefore, the controlling aspect we talk about, we need to have a different thresholds for different variables and the parameters so that the embedded system controller can work better for our applications. Application specific user interface. So when you talk about this, that the interface is also properly made between the application specific user so that user and the system will be work for different speeds. Therefore, there will be a proper design of the interface which should be used for the betterment of that. So now, if you talk about the data collective storage here, I just give an example here that the one camera has been given here with the lenses and all, where the microcontrollers will take care of all synchronous activities and also the processing. And there's one more digital signal processing available to us, and where you can get a video output and also the audio output, or a composed video can also be brought out from here. This is very, very important because the earlier days, the people have been taking image, then image has been translated into the coding of the digital signals, and then now it has been not the case because of the sensors which have been present in the camera with the embedded controller, which already translates into the digital form. Digital image can be obtained directly from the camera output. Okay, that is very important where I want to show that the storage phenomena data collection is possible directly using some sensors here. Coming back to the data communication, where I have been showing a router architecture here, where the CPU connected to a auxiliary port, a console, asynchronous ports, hub ports, Ethernet, WAN ports, and DRAM controllers, PCM, yeah, boot RAM, and the NVRAM, flash, etc. I could see that what you can understand from here is that there is a central processing unit to which I attach so many things, device to this CPU, where the controlling action has to be properly channelized so that particular port can be taken into consideration. And also, if you want to have a storing the information into a DRAM or a ROM or wherever you want to do, you can do it in this. Therefore, the other aspect is that Ethernet, LAN, WAN, MAN, what to call it, the networking schemes has been evolved here with the asynchronous ports and UART. UART is a serial communication port which should be used in conjunction with the console, and there's one more port provided as auxiliary port. So this one where I could say that previously I've been discussing about this. The microphone is a sensor where the input has been given as audio or speech signal, which has to be converted to A to D converter in a digital form. These digital signals have been acting as input to the DSP, the digital signal processing, so that the output will come as a digital signals, and which should be converted back to analog signal given to a speaker, so that I could be able to listen the same voice output here. So therefore, you could see just waveform has been drawn here with analog, a binary digital, then analog. So you could see the first input output of analog to analog, where I could see there is no distortion, there is no any sort of a frequency change, and it has been almost a faithful reproduction of the input signal at the output point after the processing with a digital data. So that is what you have to understand. This is one of the example where the Bluetooth has been given as example. So monitoring has been done by the display device, where the CRT has been used here. Continuous monitoring of different parameters synchronously on a time axis has been shown here, which gives me a concurrent way of the event acting on particular instance of time. So similarly, I could see that there is a household purpose where people have been extensively using the air conditioners in the houses, where the remote operation has been done, where the swing can be done, the blades can be moved, or temperature can be raised, or temperature can be reduced or increased, like that. Anybody can do with a remote operation. This has been possible by a remote controlling agency. It's called as embedded system controllers. So if you come to this point, the application specific user interface, so this bin device has been shown here, which is nothing but your cell phones, is a device used in a cellular communication, where there's been a device used by everybody to transmit their messages or the data or whatever you want to say. You can do it. So the advantage here is that the flexibility has been obtained, reliability has been obtained, depending upon the transmission media where we have been transmitting. So therefore, the device when you talk about here is a cellular communication has been employed with a domain oriented. Okay, I cannot change the domain to domain. I can go on changing the devices, because device is going to be moved to throughout wherever you want to take the device, you can do it. So this sort of flexibility has been adopted by adopting a technology which has been used by the embedded system as a controllers. So if you see the characteristic and quality attributes of the embedded system, unlike general purpose computing systems, embedded systems have certain specific characteristics, and these characteristics are unique to each embedded system. Some important characteristics of embedded systems are, because why I say this is that I have been using this embedded system for a dedicated purpose. When a purpose has been defined, its characteristics are different, parameters are different, attributes are different. Therefore, I have to do a design in such a way that in the initially I should have vision for what purpose I want to employ this embedded system controller, so that I can accordingly program, accordingly I can redesign my controller so that it can work for that particular purpose, not as a general purpose, but is a dedicated purpose. This is what I say, for example, a washing machine. So if you see the attributes, one is that I said domain specific, because depends on applications. Suppose I have using a cellular communication. I have a cell phone with me. I go on moving it. So domain has been going on changing. From which network it has to move the signals is also very, very important. Therefore, this has been one of the attributes which has been important to understand in which domain you are going to operate. Similarly, I have already discussed at real time. All this embedded system has to work on real time because a concurrent activity has to be performed to get a reliable operation of my controllers. Therefore, the reactive and real time it goes together so that the embedded system works on this principle of a real time. Operates in a harsh environment. Okay, this been environmental is also very, very important for embedded system because the cooling effects has to be there. So therefore, once again they distributed. I know that the network, when you talk about when transmission has been taking place in communication, a distributed network will come into picture. The network to network has been changing. So therefore, through the device, maybe anywhere in this where it has been distributed, can be connected through a communication network where I can able to transmit my signals properly for to get more and more controls in the embedded system. Similarly, small size and weight. When you think of a embedded controller, because it is being used for dedicated purpose, the system should be small enough. And also I said it is portable and also flexible. Therefore, if it is smaller in size, I can able to have a portability and weight should also be very less to carry out to different points. And then next is the power concern. When you talk about any of the electronic gadgets where I need to have a power supply has to be a minimal so that the current drawn by the device will be minimal so that the power dissipation will be a minimal. Otherwise, what happens is if the power is drawn with a higher capacity, then there's a heat will be developed. That heat has to be transmitted or dissipated is very different. Therefore, when you want to dissipate that energy, what I need to have is the dissipation power has to be increased. So therefore, for which I need to have a heat sink. Heat sink design is so toughest in the electronic media, and therefore I want to minimize the power so that the heat generated will also be less, and I can able to use a smaller and smaller heat sinks where the power dissipation can be possible. The quality attributes of the embedded systems are the non-functional requirements that need to be documented properly in any system. If the quality attributes are more concrete and measurable, it will give a positive impact on system development process and the end of the product. The various quality attributes that need to be addressed in any embedded system developments are broadly classified into two, the operational and non-operational. I could see that this passage relates to a quality. A quality has been very important because whenever a consumer purchases a gadget, he wants its satisfaction to be fullest possible. Therefore, we have to take care of the quality of the output products of the embedded system controllers so that it functions very well. So if you see the attributes and the quality attributes in particular, I can classify this into operational and non-operational. If you see the operational quality attributes, one is the response, other is throughput, other one is reliability, next is maintainability, next is security, and next is safety. So response, when you talk about the input to output response. So I have been giving input to a controller gives me a response at the output point. So therefore, the time taken by the controller is called a response time should be minimal. So therefore, when you want to have a minimal response time, because it should not take a longer time for response, therefore, the CPU which has been selected here should be good enough so that the generation of computer has been responsible for getting the work executed at the fastest time. Therefore, the CPU clock has been very, very important to give out a response, which is called a response time, is very, very important. Throughput means within a unit time, how many things will come out from the output. Okay, within a unit time, suppose I have input, I have output. So throughput in a sense is that this information is coming over there. With a unit of time, how many talks has completed, how many talks has been performed, how many talks has come out from this has been very important, which has been referred as throughput. Throughput is been very, very important because I need to have more throughput with a lesser time is been a best example for good embedded system. Similar reliability. I said that all these controls has been employed in the household purpose, which has been reliable for any of the gadgets. Therefore, if reliability is not there, production is meaningless. Therefore, we have to test for reliability, and it should last for longer time to give the satisfaction of the consumer. So therefore, whenever an embedded controller has been built into the system of suppose a washing machine or whatever you call it, and it should be reliable to the maximum possible way so that it works for longer and longer time. Maintainability. Maintainability has been one aspect where we have been maintainability is been important and maintained properly so that the things will not go to a worse stage. If maintenance is not there, the things will be worse. Therefore, maintainability is also has to be seen into this point. Next is security. Security means it is a protection, what you call it is a protection. Okay. In case of any eventualities, the system should not go bad, like power supply failures or maloperations of the system should not spoil the whole of the unit. Therefore, the security point of view and safety has been very important. I should not give a shock and other things. Therefore, security and safety has been much more important for quality attributes in the operational side. When talk non-operational quality attributes, testability and debug facility. So I have test properly, and then there should be a built-in debug facility where if any problem comes, I should be able to pinpointly say this is problem is this by debugging the program or what you call it or software. Therefore, the ability to debug is been important. So therefore, there should be a debug tools available in this process of the embedded system so that I can be able to find out the faults immediately and rectify its mistakes here so that the system can function normally. Evolvability. Evolvability means higher side. So it has been upgradability has been looking into where one system has developed. Similarly, I can go for a next version of this. Evolvability, how best I can evaluate it, and also has been very, very important. Portability, I haven't discussed very long back, is that the embedded system controller or a design and gadget which has been smaller in size, which will be useful for me to take anywhere I want, which is called as a portability, can be taken from one place to other place so easily because of the less weight and less size. Time to prototype and market. So when a prototype, I mean, suppose I want to design a embedded system. So I have to develop a prototype. That prototype will be time bound so that I can put it into the market because I'll tell you one example where the Motorola has become powerful because the Motorola could get the peripheral devices earlier than the Intel. So there is a reason why the Motorola could dominate the Intel at one stage, and therefore the timeout prototype has been delayed by the Intel. By the time the Motorola has succeeded in getting the prototype out within the time, and also they can get into the market. So because when you have a production of these embedded controllers, it should have a good market value outside so that you can get a good business for that. Per unit and total cost. Therefore, this per unit and total cost depends upon the number of the production. So if the technology advancements are there, at one side it can increase the cost, but at the same time, when you go for a bulk productions, the cost can be reduced per unit cost. Therefore, there is a trade-off between a technology and then about the cost and the cost. Therefore, the technology advancements and also the production has been very, very important. One has to take care of as the non-operational quality attributes. So next, I'd like to say a typical embedded system, when you talk about the general purpose and domain specific processors, ASICs, PLDs, commercial of the self, and components are COTs, memory, ROM, RAM, memory, according to the type of interference, memory shadow, memory selection for embedded system, sensors, actuators, communication interface, onboard and external communication interfaces. Okay, so if you see this, that I said already I have a computer. I call the embedded system only when it has been used for dedicated purpose. Once I go for deciding a dedicated purpose, then the embedded system has to be designed properly. So to make its design perfect and powerful and reliable, I need to have a specific processors. This process has to be taken care of by the generation of the computers. And similarly, I should have a ASICs and the PLDs has to be attached to this point. Conversion of the self, then the memory has been very, very important because I have to store the information, the data into the RAM or ROM, as similar to the cache memory or a flash memory, what you call it. Therefore, on-chip memories have been available apart from the external memory. The memory according to the type of interfaces. Okay, so when you talk about the interface, the mapping has been very, very important. This is called the IO or memory mapping has been important. Then the memory shadowing. And the memory selection for embedded system is also very important. And as you know that the sensors and actuators will come into, you know the different sensors. What I have seen, a microphone I have shown you as sensor. Similarly, the sensor converts or a transducer, the better word is a transducer, I can call it. So these transducers can convert one form of energy to other form of energy, whereas the actuator is in the reverse operation of the sensor. It does here the energy conservation is going to electrical output, like a motor which takes the mechanical energy into electrical energy. Similarly, the actuators will be the reverse operation. So it takes input current and drives a motor into the other direction. So this is the things where I could look at it as a broad classification. Sensor and actuators have been very essential in any of the embedded system. And also, when talk about a communication interface, onboard and external communication interface have been available for you. Okay, so the embedded systems are domain and application specific and are built around a central core. The core of the embedded system falls into one of the following. What is the core now? The general purpose and domain specific process. When you talk about, I can use a microprocessor, I can use a microcontrollers, I can use a digital signal processor, like that. But the domain specific when you talk about, we can just application specific integrated circuits, programmable logic devices, PLDs, commercial of the self components, COTs, like that. I can have any of the things. Only thing is that when you want to go for any embedded system, and if you specifically see the application orientation, then you can think of what sort of a controls has built into. Is it necessary to have a digital processing also? Not necessary. It's only a controlling action, like that you can decide upon and select appropriately the different device here, like the programmable logic or whatever ASIC, whatever you need it can be done. So that means what I want to tell you is, before going for any embedded system selection, one has to be very clear in their mind for what purpose you have been employing this embedded system decides me the core of operation, okay, which control has to be employed. Okay, thank you.